I didn't get to finish it, so I don't know.
Oh,
Uh-oh, spoilers.
spoilers, Brendan
Mm,
Fraser dies.
Well,
he
we're just
does. It's very
just gonna
tragic.
just gonna skip that episode.
Have you not seen it? Like the whole series?
I've seen bits and pieces of it.
It's super not
Oh, okay.
worth a lot of effort and time. Anyway,
Oh my God. I disagree.
too
What
bad.
else is new?
Anyway, hey, Struggle City again. I swear to God, I'm not going to touch this fucking microphone. It's a confusion at this point. It's, I don't know, like day 969 of quarantine.
Nice.
Hey.
Yeah, that's the, 969 is the sex number, right? I did that right?
The sex number.
Uh, I mean,
Right,
yeah,
that's
but
the
it would
sex
be kind
number.
of awkward for that third person. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
no,
Yep.
that's
Good
how it
job.
works. That's how it works. Anyway, it's been a thing over the
And
last,
Dave.
and it's been real bad as like I think because everybody's been bored, but everybody's getting canceled. I'm
Okay.
ignoring you. I'm moving ahead with the show because I'm a fucking professional that's
It
not
was
touching the
funny.
microphone and is drinking probably more alcohol than he should out of an 10 ounce container.
Ain't gonna fucking lie to lighting down in this basement's pretty banging.
It's good. Anyway, cancel stuff, cancel cultures.
Yeah, so
Cancel the
I'm
subscription.
hesitant to even talk about this, honestly, because I feel like this is just going to end in a fight.
Doesn't it usually?
Well, no, because I've weird thoughts on it. Like I'm for it, but at the same time, I don't like how there's levels to it, and there's like weird double standards.
Okay,
Because
well, what levels are you talking about?
well, maybe not level. It's more of like a spectrum. It's been seeming. So do y'all remember when James Gunn, the director for Guardians of the Galaxy, got canceled for tweets he
Mm,
did 10 years ago?
Yeah,
no.
I remember that.
Just because somebody went through his Twitter, 10 years worth of Twitter, and pulled up shitty jokes he made. Yeah, they were in bad taste, but uh,
But that was 10 years ago. Like, people learn and they grow from that. But if you're just going to shit all over the person I was 10 years ago, what's the point in me even fixing myself and growing into somebody new? It's not going to matter.
right. So that's one end of the spectrum. Like the weird data mining aspect of it, where old things are dredged up, and the present iteration of that person is being judged by the past stuff. And then on the other end of it is like Kevin Spacey. You know, he was shitty and he molested actors, and he's disappeared. He's basically just kind of like vanished from stuff, and people don't even want to acknowledge like his career anymore.
Yeah.
And then in the middle
Okay,
is J.K. Rowling.
okay.
She's like square in the middle of that, but she's not being judged for stuff she did 10 years ago. She's being judged for shit she's still doing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
people are
She
still
isn't
like
the most that she's
celebrating
doing
her
is
work.
like making tweets.
No, she wrote a full-on like 10-page essay about why trans women are not actually women and
And
how. Go
Hmm.
ahead. Go ahead.
it went further than that, because do you
Yeah.
remember when she was a mystery writer,
Yeah.
writing under a pseudonym
Hmm.
of Robert Galbraith?
Yep.
That was the name of a prominent gay conversion therapist. Yeah,
That doesn't work.
that's the name she
Like,
picked,
conversion
and she
therapy is
stood fucking
shit.
by it. Now, granted, again, like I said, I'm for canceling people that deserve it, but then it's just like there's weird arbitrary lines that are happening, and that's why I have that like spectrum of James Gunn to Kevin Spacey. I've been
Okay.
drinking. I see that fucking smirk. I've been drinking.
We know.
I
Yeah,
can
we
hear
know.
it. I'll hear it later. Um, yeah, no, it is kind of like a nebulous kind of term and application.
Mhm.
Like for J.K. Rowling, I completely support. Just fuck J.K. Rowling.
Yeah,
And like, even if she's just a shit author. Like,
she's awful.
how do you retcon a book through tweets? Like, she just needs to shut up.
Because she
I
can.
don't agree with what she's saying. Like, I'm on your guys' side with that. Like, she shouldn't be writing a 10-page paper on
Mhm.
her viewpoints that I personally think are wrong and a lot of people think are wrong, but everybody has their own opinion. Um, but she's obviously not like I don't really know how to phrase it, but she's just not an open person, an open-minded person, an understanding person,
Right.
who cares about all people as, you know, like as humanity should. Granted, I don't think like her connection with Harry Potter in particular really can be a point to that. And I know you guys weren't really saying that, but like I feel like, you know, someone's going to be like, "Oh, well, we have to ban the Harry Potter books now because of her." And it's like, yeah, she wrote all of that, but this isn't just about her. Like this is its whole other thing, you know?
Right, but that's why I bring up Kevin Spacey because
Hmm.
yes, what he did was a lot worse. Like he physically abused actors that he was working with, underage actors at the time, and like
Hmm.
his entire work body of work, his entire catalog has just kind of been kind of whitewashed, like away. People just don't talk about stuff he's in. People refuse to hire him. And it's a similar issue I have with Woody Allen in that he's still a respected director and author, despite the fucking terrible things he's done to his daughter.
Yeah.
What did he do?
He sexually abused her,
That's
and on top of it,
I
married his
don't
stepdaughter.
like that's just fucked up.
Whoa, hold on, wait, you got cut out a little bit there at the end. I heard married, and then I saw your lips say stepdaughter.
Hmm.
Okay.
Like Woody Allen,
That was,
Woody
that was
Allen
it.
and Mia
They were next to
Farrow.
each other.
Woody
I just
Allen
wanted to
and
make
Mia
sure.
Farrow adopted a girl from China, and then Woody Allen's like, "Hey, you know what? That puss is pretty all right on some of that." And like,
Jesus fucking Christ.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't know why it's different for one person versus another
yeah.
when it's basically like, you know, they're on the same level.
Well, again, that's why it's the spectrum thing. Just like because there's different levels, there's weird varying severities.
I
Yeah.
feel like it has a lot to do with the amount of publicity and public eye the entire situation and the person has.
Mm-hmm.
So like, what I don't even remember his fucking name. What was his name? The director.
Woody Allen.
Yeah, Woody Allen. I mean, like, he's already been slowly moving out of the limelight.
He just put out a book.
How many people actually read?
I suppose.
You know?
But the point being that like he was able to get it published and he was able to write this book.
Right
Yeah.
after I think it was HarperCollins just like outright either HarperCollins refused or they were secretly okay with it despite the fact that they were also publishing his son's book, which was talking about sex criminals like his father. It was one or the other, I
Huh.
forget.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Some
Yeah.
people deserve to be canceled and others do not.
It's just yeah,
But no
like
one's ever gonna agree on everything.
it's so weird. Because the James Gunn thing, I think, is like a tamer case, and there's like a weird, not even redemption of it, because he did come back, and he's doing Guardians 3, he's doing
Suicide Squad remake.
yeah, essentially. So
Yeah,
like he's coming out fine, which I think shouldn't have been a concern because he shouldn't have been to come out of anything.
if anything, I think it benefited him
Yeah, you
because
know,
Disney dropped them and then
And
DC
that's
picked them up.
bullshit.
and then
Then
Disney picked him up again.
yeah, so now instead of just being owned by Disney, he kind of has this weird two relationships with two different companies now
Yeah,
because he was dropped by one and then picked up and then re-picked up by Disney. So like in a weird way, he
Hmm.
came out on top of the entire scandal.
yeah, which I like because I really like James Gunn. And I want him to start making weird movies again.
Yes,
You only like weird movies, so
You liked one of his movies. You liked Super.
Super's pretty good.
did. I did like Super.
Super is wonderful. Super is
10 out of
wonderful.
10.
Slither is wonderful.
Yeah. We had a conversation about this, I guess a couple weeks ago now, in terms of like cancel culture when
Mm.
Jenna Marbles essentially canceled herself.
Yes.
And I had so many thoughts, so many feelings about it that I ended up posting about it on Facebook, which I don't post a whole lot of stuff on Facebook, but I was just kind of like fed up. I was really frustrated and upset because I've been watching her for 10 years and she has made me cry laughing. She's made me so happy to just kind of like get away for like 10 minutes at a time, and I really loved her videos. And she said that people have been like asking for apologies because she did certain things that are not okay, and she apologized for those things. But again, it was like 10 years ago that she did them. So she apologized for them. She took those videos down or she made them private or whatever. But that's just not good enough. And I ended up watching a lot of other people's like reactions to her canceling. Half of them were like, yeah, like she should definitely be canceled and she shouldn't come back. And then the other half were like, she didn't fucking do anything. And her big thing is that like she's such a sweet person from what I see on the camera that she basically said like I don't want to ever offend anybody. You know, I don't want to put out content that's going to offend anybody. And I get that, but shut the fuck up because you can't live that way because no matter what you do, you're going to offend somebody. And then you give those people who are offended all of this entitlement and that's just bullshit.
I guess that kind of sits in testament how we run this channel.
She did blackface. She did a thing that was designed to disparage an entire race for shits and gigs.
Can I argue that? Not really argue, but can I say something about that? Because I remember that video, and I remember, like, I know it wasn't right of her to do. And then I watched a couple other YouTubers and what their comments are, just to kind of like get other people's opinions on it. And a lot of people were saying, you know, like, first of all, she did apologize for it, and that's great. Second of all, she wasn't trying to make fun of a person. She she was impersonating Nicki Minaj, and Nicki Minaj has darker skin. She's black. I don't know what exactly her you know what exactly she is, I guess. But she was impersonating her, and then she went to take the wig off, and it really just looked like Jenna was very tan. So it wasn't like she literally got like black paint and put that on her. She wasn't trying to do something like that. So it wasn't as malicious as it sounds when you say, oh, she did blackface.
But she was impersonating a black person is the thing. Like,
Yeah, but
yeah, it's weird Robert Downey Jr. did it for a movie, but the point of him doing it was like legit satire.
Yeah.
that's
And
kind of what she was doing too. Why is that not okay for her to do it on YouTube, but Robert Downey Jr. is fine even though it was in a movie?
was it satire? I'm not super duper familiar with Jenna Marbles because like that's not my niche YouTube.
Her whole point of her content is to make people laugh. So I don't know.
No, so
It
I think
just
that
like I just hate that mentality of people saying I don't want to ever offend anybody because you're gonna offend people and people need to get over it.
I mean it's not an easy thing to do. I think that's the reason why Jimmy Kimmel's kind of been AWOL from his show for the last couple of weeks, regardless of quarantine, is that people suddenly remembered that he was on the Man Show, which was yeah, and he did blackface on the Man Show.
Then he should come out and apologize and grow and learn from it, and then that's it. That's it. You know, like you cannot change the past.
No, but you should also know better.
But clearly he didn't.
Right.
You can't change that. Like you can only change how you're going to react and how you're reacting today and how you're behaving today.
Oh, sorry, there's a lot of rum in that last drink.
No, it's fine. It's just like this irritates me because obviously like there are some things to get offended about and to get pissed about and things that deserve apologies and you know things like that. But it's getting to the point, and I'm not talking about blackface, but I am talking about other things where it's like you want me to apologize for something that like you shouldn't even be getting offended over. And that's what bothers me. And like one of the YouTubers that I was watching about Jenna Marbles, they were kind of like, you know, it makes sense for people to get offended about that. At the same time, if you're not black and you're getting offended over that, it doesn't make as much sense if you are a black person getting offended over it. Like people are getting offended over stuff that like does not apply to them. Just to get pissed about something, just to start a fight.
Right, and there are those that do virtue signal like that, but just from like my perspective, it's just a gross thing to do. Like coming from a family of racists that think shit like that's cool and have used shitty language, and I don't agree with things like that. I see that and it causes this kind of revulsion.
Yeah, like a guttural reaction. Like,
yeah.
Ooh.
When I was watching Mad Men for the first time the other year, last year, like out of nowhere, there's Mad Men is set. Granted, it's set in the '60s, so it's era appropriate for shitty white people stuff. But there's an episode where the main characters go to a garden party, and one of the main characters is just suddenly in blackface. Yeah,
and that's not okay.
No, and that's
and I'm not
the reason
saying
they
that that's
coded
okay.
Yeah. because that character was a piece of shit to begin with, and this just deepened that like, he's not a redemptive character. He's not capable of that kind of empathy or emotion. But just
Yeah.
it's just seeing shit like that just makes me so uncomfortable.
And I understand being uncomfortable by it, but I think that, if people come out and apologize and, own up to their actions and show that they've grown, they shouldn't get so chastised.
I feel like an apology is kind of like the first step, but like you said, we can control how we react and how we act today, but actions speak louder than words.
It's
So
not
what do
only
you want
that,
them to
but
do?
it's the court of public opinion that usually does this stuff.
Yeah.
It's the data miners on Twitter. It's the people that will dox. It's a violent mob mentality. Is one of the issues. And then I think
Well,
another huge factor is just like the stature of the person. Like what level of society are they at? I think that plays a lot into it.
okay, so let's just say that you had somebody make a mistake, regardless of whatever mistake it was, okay? Like not just blackface, like if it was something that somebody said, whatever. They said it 10 years ago when they were a totally different person, and then someone is bringing that up, they come out and they say, I'm really sorry that I said that. I'm appalled that I said that. Like I was different then. I've grown now. Is that not good enough for you? Whoa, that was a big squeak. Jesus.
Dave, get that guinea pig out of your butt.
No. Um, no, I see where you're coming from. Like literally, you are a different person, physically, mentally, spiritually, from 10 years ago because your cells change, they die off, and you're a new person physically. You read, and hopefully you read, and you watch videos and movies, and you change mentally and spiritually. You might be in a different place than you were 10 years ago. So it's unfair to be judged on your past
Mm-hmm.
self's action, but you need to also prove that you have changed. Yeah, I know. But there's
So, okay, how
actions.
would you, okay, like what then? Like I'm genuinely curious. Like, did you ever watch Jenna?
I watched her a little bit later on. I
Okay, so what would you want her to do to come out after that? Because she did make that one video that, apologized and all of that, and is that not enough? What would you want her to do after that? Because she is totally different than how she was 10 years ago.
maybe use her platform and her internet clout to bolster black voices and give them a platform to speak out and talk. Maybe allow a YouTube creator to post like a video a week on her channels. This way, the 10 million subscribers that she has can see that video. Use the platform and the voice that you've built over the past decade to give someone else a voice.
Okay. I understand what you mean by that. I don't think she does that on her channel, but I do think that she does that with her boyfriend Julian on their podcast, but I'm not 100% sure. But no, okay, I see what you mean. But
Yeah, but
so if
I
one
didn't even
person
know she
makes
had
one
a.
mistake,
Go ahead.
I really like her. So like I said,
Yeah,
I've
I
been
like
watching her for
Jenna
10
too.
years, but yeah, but if somebody makes one mistake, should they have to, well, now this is opening up a whole thing, but if they make one mistake, should they have to pay for that mistake for the rest of their lives and continuously prove that they have changed in order to make amends?
I mean,
And I'm
isn't
not
that just
talking
what
about like
living
murdering
is?
somebody or something like that.
Depends on the
Um,
mistake.
it does depend on the mistake, but like if I say something to one of you that's offensive and then you tell me, hey, that was offensive and I was pissed off by that, I will come out to you and apologize. But then I don't want to spend the rest of our friendship being like, hey, again, I'm really sorry for this and like I promise I've changed and like continuously like actively show you that I've changed.
I'll
Like it
demand a
just it
yearly
just sounds like one of
apology.
those it just sounds like one of those things where it's like, you like your older brother has dirt on you, and so they're gonna hold that over you and like make you do all of their chores. Otherwise, they're gonna like tell your parents. You know what I mean? Like that's the type of vibe I'm getting from it.
I would be more convinced of their apology if they did it themselves, if they weren't so goaded, so influenced by the court of public opinion to make the apology. If they were looking over their back catalog of things if they're looking over their past history of whatever, and they saw they did or said something that was questionable even at the time, and then they make the apology. I think
Hmm.
I feel like
Okay,
the apology then is more genuine and more understanding and forgiving,
that makes sense.
as opposed to the other way.
I get that.
It's like apologies with little kids. You don't want to just hear them say "I'm sorry." You want them to be genuinely sorry.
Yeah, absolutely, you do. And you want them to grow from whatever, and then learn whatever lesson that they need to learn. Because we all just need to be better people. We all need to be good to each other and care about each other. And apparently that's so hard to do. So, but I mean,
Um,
I thought her apology was very genuine.
I mean, if you work retail, empathy for people is next to impossible.
I mean, I'm in the food business, and I told you guys the other day, even during the fucking pandemic, when I am putting my health at risk, my family's health at risk by going in and seeing all of these people, and you're only going to tip me $7 on a 65, almost $70 check? Fuck you, you know? But yet, I still go in and I'm like, oh, today's going to be great, and I'm going to give a shit about other people, and I don't know. This whole topic just like it bothers me so much because it just takes me back to the idea that people get offended over everything, and I'm tired of it.
Like I've been over people since we opened in June because the other day I had a man throw a legitimate temper tantrum. A grown man throw a legitimate temper tantrum, throw a book on the floor and sit on the floor because we don't have seating available throughout the store because there's a virus eating the world, and it likes it when
And
stupid
that's
people
ridiculous.
congregate in small areas. Don't you miss the bookstore, Dave?
A little bit, yeah. I'm actually looking to quit this job, so
Come on back, we could use you.
nope. I'm going to I'm
We
going
could
to the
use
big
somebody
red Target.
moderately capable.
Unless they can offer me $15 an hour, it ain't happening.
I've been there 10 years. It's not possible.
Ooh, you want to bet?
Yeah. Yes.
Challenge accepted. I'll apply to Barney.
Go for it. Do it, Dave.
So, okay, wait, let's actually like get back on track for a second because I wanted to ask you guys, like, in terms of comedy, because I've been watching a lot of like comedy specials on Netflix. I just like them.
Mhm.
And a lot of people have started saying like this is only a joke. Like that I'm kidding. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
they feel like they have to say that because you never know, like it could be taken out of context and whatever. But like don't you realize that as a comedian, their whole job is to get on stage and like
Mhm.
do that type of work? You know what I
Yep.
mean? So I
Dave
feel like people
Chappelle.
can't joke around.
Dave Chappelle covered it best when he said that audiences are the fucking worst.
Yep.
And no, I totally
Hmm.
get that. But I think comedians are like in a weird gray zone. Like, yeah, there's boundaries they can push, and some of them know what they can push and what they can't push. So I follow Josh Denny on Twitter. He's of a conservative mind of thought, and I'm fine with that because I want to know both sides of everything. And some of the shit he says and does on Twitter is so dark and so kind of blue that I feel like some days he really does toe the line, and some days he does really just cross it, but it still gets a laugh out of me. So I'm like, I don't know how to feel.
Well, because laughter is not the opposite. Like, laughter doesn't guarantee happiness. Like if you've seen David or Daniel Sloss, he wrote, he said like a really good point about it being like, you know, happiness and sadness are not exactly like opposites all the time, and laughter isn't the only way to deal with sadness, and like all of these things where it's like if you laugh at a joke because it's funny to you, that doesn't mean you're happy about it. You know what I mean? Yes, Dave.
Isn't
Yes,
that just the
Case.
plot to Inside Out?
I don't
Yes.
know.
Anyway, that was my point. Go ahead, Casey.
So Josh Denny a few years ago, maybe not a few years ago, at least a year or two ago, when that big caravan of migrants from South America were coming up this way, and there was a photo that was circulating around the news of a toddler that had drowned while they were trying to cross like a river. And he said, and Josh Denny
Okay.
retweets the picture and says, This is why you don't use your toddler as a flotation device. That's funny. That's fucked up, but that's funny.
But see, that's like a lot of things that are fucked up are really funny
That was
because it
really
helps
funny.
us get through it.
Well, yeah, because you're staring at the body of a dead child. I'm still laughing thinking
It
about it.
also depends, like if somebody had posted that photo and said like, "Oh, what a tragedy," like of course we wouldn't be laughing about it. Like it's not the fact that the baby died. It's delivery of it, I guess. It's the way that we look at it. It's perspective, damn it. Like I've
Yeah.
been saying this for months.
But like it's 100% in bad taste, and but yeah, it's one of those weird nebulous areas that comedians just live in.
Yeah.
And my favorite
Like
part of it is that
in
he
my
was
opinion,
on Food Network, and that was maybe 5, 6 years ago. People still think he has that show, and they're still trying to get him canceled.
do your
Like they don't,
fucking research.
they don't do the research.
People don't read.
No, they don't, and they
Mhm.
should. They just believe all of this like fake news on Facebook and stuff like that because it's easy. You don't have to put in the work to read about what's actually happening.
Reading, cross
But
research, and
you have,
But you can
but I
follow.
think that you have to get over things. Like you have to like accept things and move past them and then be able to joke about them. Like people laugh at Holocaust jokes, for example. I typically don't because like I just don't really find it funny. But like the point being, that was the one of the worst things that has ever happened in the history of our world. What the fuck are you smiling about?
I think Holocaust jokes are a
What?
gas.
Exactly though, like people make jokes like that and I don't want people to start being like, "Oh my God, that's so offensive." I'm sorry, but like have you lost somebody to the Holocaust? Are you Jewish? Like what is your connection?
Well, it's more offensive. People making jokes about the Holocaust, or the ones that don't believe it happened.
the ones that don't believe it happened.
Absolutely.
Because you're not acknowledging it. By joking about it, you're acknowledging its existence.
Right.
Yeah.
On a similar vein, Pete Davidson, very popular for his 9/11 jokes.
Yeah, because his dad died in 9/11.
Yep, he actually just made an entire movie about it.
Yeah, it sucks.
Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Isn't he the
Oh,
Give me that fucking pain in the ass.
Yeah, he
Sorry,
was the
she's
one
like
that
stealing.
was dating like Kate Beckinsale and Ariana Grande, and
clout.
yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
he's funny, but I don't. That's just me.
I don't think he is either.
He has
I
his
don't particularly
moments.
like him.
He has his moments on SNL, and that's about it. I don't like his stand-up.
Yeah. There was a roast he was part of years ago that was really funny because everyone kept trying to everyone was making 9/11 jokes at him, and then a conservative pundit in culture was part of the dais, and she was trying to make fun of him, and then he just turned it around, and everybody started roasting her instead of whoever they were supposed to roast.
Jesus Christ.
That was good.
Well, anyway, I think we can agree that it's all about the line because this line is blurred. Like it's never black and white. There's always gray to it, and it's hard to
It's spectrum.
understand.
Speaking of blurred
Yeah.
lines, that's another guy who got canceled.
Yeah, because he made a song about rape and then also stole the beat to the song.
Did you see the
Piece of
music
shit.
video for it? It's literally just
Creepy.
like women without their shirts on.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Plus, the
so
song isn't even that
the,
good.
the final consensus of the group is that we all deserve to get canceled. Cancel everybody.
We don't.
Cancel the police. Defund the police. Do all that.
All right, but until fucking next time.
Until next time, this has been a supremely uplifting Struggle City.
It has.
This has been great. Follow us on the Twitter, on the Snapchat, on the TikTok.
On YouTube, whenever we upload.
Update your Pony Express address, and a horse will be to you shortly. And register to vote. Struggle
Yeah, I
City
agree
out.
with that one.
Holy shit.